What is up? Class is now in order. Get your notebooks together. What's up? It is Millennial Soul Food, and I'm actually here to introduce something that I've been working on for a long time, and I've kind of been sitting on it because I just wasn't sure if I should put it out. But this is the beginning of my series, Tarot for Entrepreneurs and Creatives. And basically, this is where I use the tarot to explain various dimensions or aspects of things that are important for creating a lucrative like side gig, or just general inspiration for any kind of business idea that you have. Is mostly focused in marketing. I've actually worked full time in like corporate marketing, but I've been working in marketing for over 8 years. So I decided to do this in order to kind of mold my passions of tarot with what I currently do, and I also do some consulting on the side for people who are looking for some creative education, creative consulting, basically. So this tarot for entrepreneurs and creatives spans across a lot of different topics. This one specifically is focused on vision and planning. So this can apply to any kind of side gig that you're looking to plan and cultivate, something that you were looking to monetize, a specific hobby, anything like that. Today, we're going to be focusing on the Two of Wands. And within this series, there are other cards. So you can see those up on the screen right now. Today, though, like I mentioned, we are focusing in on the Two of Wands. So now, if you look at the Two of Wands, it's very interesting. This is definitely fire energy. You see the person is sitting there looking at the globe. There's these two sticks behind him. There's a lot of symbolism in this card that I am going to go over. But this is one of the aspects. And tarot is really like inspirational because there's a lot of different ways that you can apply the lessons, apply the imagery. But as I mentioned, specifically, this is going to be related to the Two of Wands. And so the Two of Wands is a card that really embodies a spirit of exploration, planning, and strategic vision. Now, this is a Rider-Waite tarot deck card that I'm using, and this card depicts a figure standing on a castle's parapet, holding a globe in one hand and a wand in the other. The second wand is firmly planted in the ground behind him. This imagery is really rich, particularly it's really rich with symbolism, and particularly for business owners and entrepreneurs, especially if you're at a crossroads in terms of your decision making and future planning. Now, let's go through. Sorry, I have to drink some of my tea. Let's go through the symbolism in this Two of Wands card here for some deeper insights into the mindset that is really required for successful envisioning, and planning for whatever kind of endeavor you're trying to embark on. Now let's focus on the globe. So the globe in this figure's hand represents the world of opportunities that lies before him. It signifies global thinking, expansion, and the ability to see beyond immediate surroundings. So this person, they're in a particular environment, but they're sitting here looking at the entire globe. That's how you have to look at things whenever you are cultivating a business. This symbolizes the importance of thinking big and considering new marketing, innovative strategies, and also potential for growth beyond your current circumstances. Sometimes you have to look broader beyond what you're currently in order to make it. You know what I mean? You got to look, you have to have vision that other people usually don't have around you. And you got to also figure out some positive affirmations to keep yourself going. But the globe is very significant in terms of the way that to make it past a crossroad, to make it past a moment where you're in deep decision making, where there's a deep need for you to make a decision. You need to really be thinking beyond your current limitations, beyond your current borders. So that is really the powerful symbolism between this behind this globe here. Okay, so let's look at the castle, because this person isn't just sitting in the yard. They're standing in a castle. They're actually standing at the top of a castle, it looks like. So even that they are looking at the globe, but they also are at a spot where they are perched, and they're kind of away from other people. They're really focused in on their own particular vision of what this kind of expansion looks like, if that makes sense. So this figure stands on a solid foundation represented by the castle. This indicates that while it's important to explore possibilities, it's crucial to have a stable base from which you're going to operate. In a business context, this means having a secure and well-established core before venturing into new territories. Okay, so now let's look at these wands. What do these wands symbolize? So in tarot, the wands symbolize the fire energy. They represent that active energy that you have to focus in somewhere in order to make things happen. So the wands symbolize the balance between what is known in front of the figure and what is unknown. One wand is held firmly by the figure, representing control over current resources and knowledge, and the other wand is anchored to the castle wall, symbolizing stability and the solid foundation upon which the plans are being built. So you got to have a solid foundation. We're going to go a little bit over that. We're going to go over that a little bit here next in this second part, where we are talking about how to apply the Two of Wands to business planning. So the Two of Wands encourages entrepreneurs to take a step back and evaluate their current position while planning for the future. So this is about, like I mentioned, strategic vision. You have to have a clear vision of where you want to go in your business. This involves thinking beyond your immediate environment, as I mentioned, and consider how your business or whatever you're looking to do can grow revenue, can access the right kind of audience, all of that. So whether it's expanding into a new market, diversifying your product line, or innovating your services, the Two of Wands urges you to dream bigger than your current circumstances. So what does it mean when we talk about this foundation building in this card here? So before you embark on any new venture, we're specifically just talking about building a business, building some kind of side gig. You have to figure out what is going to be the foundation. So do you know what the finances are going to look like? Do you have much overhead associated with running this business? For instance, me with tarot, my only overhead really is the tarot cards and then any kind of equipment that I decide to use to record the content that I'm doing. So I have about 6 tips here on tips for foundation building. Before you embark on any idea, like I said, you need to let's talk about validating your idea. Validating your idea means you're looking at the market demand. Is there a real need for your product or service? It requires researching competitors and potential customers. This is the type of stuff. What I'm telling you right now is the type of stuff I do every day in my full-time job in my consulting. It's very important for you to understand the market so you can understand who else is doing what you're doing. So validating your idea, another aspect of that is understanding who your target audience is. Because if you're just creating content, if you're just marketing your services to just anybody, the message is not going to hit the resonant individual, you know what I mean, that you need your ideas to resonate with. So who's going to buy from you? You need to really work on defining demographics, interests, and various pain points that your consumer, like your target audience, is going to have. Also, is there a way that you can test a version of what you're looking for? Is there a way that you can do some testing so you can get some feedback to make sure that your idea is actually valid? Okay, so number two is legal and financial foundations. Is this business structure going to be a sole proprietorship? Is it going to be an LLC or a corporation based on liability and tax needs? Do you need a certain kind of license or permit? Me, to do tarot, I don't need a license. This is just, being intuitive is just a thing. And I've been doing tarot for over 20 years. So actually, it's been 18, 2 years. I got 2 more years before I've been doing it for 20 years. But I have proven myself through my track record, through my testimonials, through reading tarot for a lot of different people. For instance, if you're doing hair, you might need to get you a license, because otherwise you're going to get sued, especially if anything happens. I do know with LLCs, I have an LLC, it does keep you from where if someone tries to sue you, they're going to be suing the company. They're not going to be suing you, your person, like as a body. So that's very interesting to understand. Separate your finances. Have you opened a bank account to track your expenses for taxes? What is going to be your pricing strategy? That also is a part of what the competitor research is going to be looking at. Okay, so then also branding and online presence. What is your business name going to be? What's your brand identity? What's the website going to look like? How are you going to offer consistent messaging? So this is all literally things that you need to be doing in your planning. I have some prompts coming up after I go through these next couple of tips. Marketing channels. What marketing channels are you going to use? Is it going to be primarily TikTok, or is it going to be YouTube? Is it going to be Instagram? Is it newsletters? Are you going to be creating online communities? There's a lot of different things on here in my plan, and I do plan to come out with a little PDF for you, just so you can have these tips as a part of your notes. Operations and scalability. How easy is it to scale up this thing that you're doing? Time management. What is this going to look like? How many hours a week do you have to devote to the cultivating this business? If you're unemployed, you got all the time in the world almost. But if you have a full-time job like many of us do, and you want to just create a side gig to bring in additional money, you need to judge that, because oftentimes it can be very easy to just get lost in the sauce, and you just start doing all this stuff for your business, and then and then it's like you're just using all your energy on that, and then you don't even have energy for the full-time job, or it begins to encroach upon your normal life. So you got to allocate the hours. Time management is very important. Mindset and long-term success. It's very important to start small and get your feedback, do your research. Don't dive in too quickly. Again, thinking about long-term success, legal protection, profit alignment, all of that. Okay, so another aspect of foundation building is understanding the risks that are involved in whatever you're looking to do. So let's go through this. So if you are starting a business, let's say, these are things that you need to look out for. These are things that you need to try to anticipate as part of possible things that could happen that will make your business fail. Because you need to be real. We got to be real about the risks, because this involves this wand that is behind this person here does involve understanding the things that you're not really anticipating right now. So really, as part of your plan, as part of your vision, you need to really understand how are you going to avoid cash flow issues? How are you going to avoid running out of money before you can turn a profit? What are unexpected costs that you might not be thinking about right now? If let's say you're someone who wants to travel and be some kind of content creator, influencer, that's going to require a plane ticket. Well, how are you able to write the stuff off on your taxes? Just things to consider. Low profit margins. Is your pricing going to be like too low? Are you going to do it too high? Like, think about the costs that go into creating whatever kind of product you're doing. Okay, another risk. Oh, actually, this is another financial risk here. Debt and over leveraging, taking out too much debt before revenue stabilizes. So this is especially if you're gonna be doing something that requires a lot of overhead, a lot of investment from yourself, or it's also great if you have a grant or something like that. Okay, so market demand and risk. So another thing you need to think about and be agile, be ready to change whatever, and at a moment's notice is understanding the market fit. Are you actually solving a problem for people? If you hit it right, then you're gonna be solving something for an audience, and there you're gonna be getting that demand that is needed. Think about trends. Is there a trend, something that's developing in the next year that's going to keep you from actually being able to achieve, starting your business and successfully making money or successfully, jumping it off? Is the market you're in too saturated? Honestly, these days, I don't even think, like, there's so many courses everywhere. It just makes more sense to just do some content for free and do consulting or something like that in some cases. Or look at the demand. Is the market too saturated? I'm just talking about content creation, but what does the market look like? What are some operational risks? So quality control is a very important thing. How are you going to make sure the quality is the same? For me, for instance, when I'm making my oils, I know how many drops of each oil or each thing. Like, sometimes I use essential oils in mine, but then you have an exact amount of herbs that you're going to use. There's a way that you need to standardize certain kinds of processes so that you can have the quality control, and so that your stuff comes out to the top. It comes out at the top quality, and it's consistent, and people can begin to trust you, and that you're going to be offering a consistent product, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? A consistent service. What are some tech failures that you can anticipate? What if your internet is shot? Do you need to do you need to upgrade your internet? Do you need to upgrade your computer? How are you going to be processing payments? Because a lot of people use a lot of different systems for processing payments and stuff like that. I do it through my website. But how are you going to do that? Are there going to be any supply chain disruptions? This is kind of deeper. Like, for instance, if you use a certain kind of glass bottle in your products, well, are you going to be able to always access that specific type of glass? Because part of your audience might actually just I'm trying not to curse either, because I want this to be monetized one day. But y'all know I'm country. You might want your audience to really resonate. Well, your audience might resonate with a specific kind of glass bottle that you use, and then if it changes, they be like, "Man, I don't like this. It's too square. I like the curve of the old bottle." So make sure that there's a way that you can anticipate this kind of stuff, so that you can provide consistency, because that is what is going to help you be successful. Looking at legal and compliance risks. What are new laws that could affect your business? Zoning laws, if you're trying to do hair. What are laws in your state? because there's a lot of laws that relate to like the cosmetic industry. I actually did work in the beauty industry for a little bit and marketing, and I did learn like there's different kinds of regulations as a part of these, certifications and stuff like that. I work in finance now, but it's very important to understand that. Are you going to trademark? That's another legal and compliance risk. This is about intellectual property and then contract disputes. So if you have clients who are supposed to pay you and don't pay you, like how are you going to handle disputes? My advice is just you need a contract laying out everything. It doesn't matter if you best friends, you need a contract. It's not being weird. It's just this is making sure that y'all are able to work together in a beneficial way, in a way that is, not like you're anticipating that you're gonna get, you know, um, exploited, but it's just a way to lay the terms out. Y'all know, if we're talking about astrology, you need to look at this from a Capricorn point of view. Look at it from a point of view. It's not, the ego's not involved. This is about just making sure that everything is copacetic, period. Okay, also reputation and customer risks. You need to think about what are some things that people can anticipate. Think about, oh, I don't want this to happen because I don't want this to create a negative customer experience for, my peoples. What are you going to do to manage public relations? It's also very important to understand the branding of your product, how you are marketing the product. And that's also why it's very important, of course, to have a certain level of decorum whenever you are representing a business, of course. But it's very important that you understand PR relations, because if you understand that, your business can get canceled real quick. I ain't even joking. Let's move on also to cybersecurity. Is there important data that is associated with this? What is the tech looking like? Looking out for fake orders, chargebacks, or phishing attacks. Child, this is more about cybersecurity. Especially if you're handling like really important data of people, you don't want a data breach to happen in your business, and then everyone's social security cards get stolen, and then you getting sued. So these are some these are some risk mitigation strategies. So start small and test, diversify your income, build an emergency fund, get legal advice on how to write a contract, get with somebody, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know about writing contracts. I always write contracts for all of my clients that I work with. Point blank, period. No discussion. Otherwise, if they don't want a contract, y'all don't need to be working together. Because I have literally anyone I have a contract with, I've done contracts with some of my best friends. But we are still good because we laid the terms out. There wasn't no sneaky stuff going on. You know what I mean? Use secure tools. A lot of times your website can be very important. I use Squarespace. I'm not being paid by them either. They ain't sponsoring, but one day if they want to. But use secure tools. You don't want to be using a website that's vulnerable to getting attacked and stealing other people's financial information. How are you going to monitor your cash flow? How are you going to track your expenses? How are you going to make sure that you monitor your revenue closely, monitor different spikes that might happen because you have done a successful marketing campaign? These are very important things for you to do. Okay, so I am going to give you like a PDF for the ways to apply all of this knowledge. I feel like we have gone through a whole lot, and I don't want this to be over 30 minutes. But thank you for tuning in. I'm going to have a link down below that is a blog entry on some ways to really apply this information. There's going to be writing prompts and stuff like that. So make sure you go to that if you want to really apply this information. And then, yeah, hit me up if you have any questions. I'm going to be going live at some points. So make sure you follow me on all my things. Please like this video, girl. Please like this video. And keep on supporting and let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what kinds of questions you have, especially in the comments, please. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.